From Nutrien Ag Solutions, I'm Senior Meteorologist Andrew Pritchard with your Canadian Prairie weather story for Monday, January 15th, 2024. How are you doing? Are you cold? Is it cold where you are? It's cold where I am. I assume it's cold where you are as well. We talked about this in the last week or two. Big cold was going to be coming. It is here. We've seen the wintry vibes turned all the way up. We've got freezing temperatures all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico right now in a winter storm that is impacting the southern U.S. So I'm right in between, and you guys are kind of just ground zero for this bitterly cold air. We'll look at the jet stream via the infrared satellite picture here. Again, big, deep trough, big area of low pressure. You see the dark blue and green shading here that is not moving. That is just bitterly, bitterly cold ground that is showing up with the same temperatures on the order of, 45 to 55 degrees below zero that some of our cold cloud top temperatures usually reflect. So again, the ground is about as cold as usually the very bitterly cold cloud temperatures would be. So very, very, very cold as we look at the infrared satellite picture there. Pretty quiet across the region. Bitterly cold air typically doesn't support a lot in the way of precipitation. So some light flurries ongoing across portions of the prairie. And then I'll look at those temperatures a little closer, anywhere from minus 40 across portions of Alberta to minus 25 over toward Winnipeg, minus 20 degree air extends all the way down to where I am here in the Midwest of the United States. Last 7 days of precipitation, we have seen some corridors of light snow. Just about everyone's seen some flurries and at least a light coating added onto their snowpack. Over the last 7 days, some heavier snow up north near Highway 16. As we look at the next 7 days, it's going to be relatively quiet unless you find yourself across western or southern Alberta. We've got several chances for some continued light snow, some additional accumulation across those areas. Additionally, across portions of southern Manitoba, we may continue to see some of that wraparound snow from the upper level low stack up a light coating to maybe a few inches. Right in between there, much of the prairie going to be pretty much on the quiet side. Some flurries, I'm sure, but not much in the way of impactful snow. We'll look at the total accumulation here through the weekend. So this is your next 7 days of snow accumulation here. Again, anywhere from 4 to 7 inches of additional snow across portions of western and southern Alberta. Now here's the big upper level low as we get started here. This is the culprit for all of the cold air. Again, the flow across the Canadian prairie pretty much straight out of the Arctic, and that air continues to just be funneled right into the central United States. Now, as we animate the next 7 days, big changes. We replace that upper level low with an upper level high. That is more reflective of the pattern that we saw through much of December. That is going to be bringing in more, warmer temperatures as we get into next week and really the last 7 days or so of January. Now, as we look at the precipitation forecast over the next 10 days with the European model, again, most of the activity going to be focused here across the high plains, the Front Range, portions of western and southern Alberta. A lot of that falls here Tuesday, getting into Wednesday and Thursday as an area of low pressure kind of sneaks in across the Pacific Northwest. Heavier snow across southern British Columbia, portions of the interior, northern Rockies across the northern U.S., and then this one's going to sneak through and give me some snow here Friday in the Midwest, but kind of a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday snow across portions of western and southern Alberta. Flurries for you elsewhere. We'll zoom in, look at the higher resolution model here. Again, timing this out over the next 3 days. Much of the heavier snow across the southern third of Alberta. Elsewhere, you're looking at flurries, much more inconsequential light snow. One more way to look at this. The probability of picking up 3 inches or more of snow between now and Saturday, January 20th. Pretty much not registering anywhere except western and southern Alberta. That's where we see that snow Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe 4 to 7 inches of the white stuff. Now, temperatures, again, I mentioned it's cold just about everywhere, from the prairie down into the Midwest, the central plains, the southern plains of the United States. Whether it's minus 40 where you are or minus 10, you look at the purple shading here. This is where everyone, suffering is relative. We're all about 20 degrees C or more colder than we should be this time of year. So again, whether it's minus 40 up in Alberta or, freezing in southern Texas, it's way colder than it typically would be here in the middle of January, which is our coldest time of the year. So we're all suffering, but as I animate this, if you like some warmer shaded colors, there you go. We get into the end of January, we're going to see a big pattern change, temperatures thawing out. Of course, late January warmth. I'm not promising shorts and t-shirts. It's not summer yet, but we will at least relax the bitterly, bitterly cold temperatures. Here's what that looks like here in Calgary. Your lows going from minus 25, minus 30 back into the minus single digits. And hey, a couple degrees above freezing as we get into next week. Very similar look here in Edmonton. You see that warm up as we head into the last part of January. Saskatoon as well. Those highs go from minus 26 today to, minus 6, minus 4 as we get into the last week of January. Not balmy, but maybe it will feel balmy compared to what we're dealing with now. Here you go, Regina, Winnipeg, same story. Again, very quiet on the snow front this week, unless you live in western and southern Alberta, and temperature is going to be bitterly cold here for a few more days through the weekend, pretty cold, and then we'll get into more seasonally appropriate cold, if not a little more milder compared to average in the last days of January. Have a wonderful week. I will talk to you again next Monday.